Hello everyone, my name's Lost and welcome back. So today I think we are going to add some attacking animations and yeah, we'll get enemy characters in there and we'll allow our characters to attack the enemy. But first there's something we need to change because I had noticed there's a slight problem with our code in here. And that's, if you remember in episode 3, oh no, the last episode actually, we noted that you couldn't get to the top right corner. Let me show you. Yeah, I believe we discovered that obviously there's a problem down here with that, and that is because obviously it's checking from left to right. You know, if it should open or close, you know, based on if it can path there. And the problem is, once this one and this one's closed, it cannot path to the next one to find out if it needs to close it or not. So we're going to fix that, and we're also going to make it so that we can get to this corner here, because currently we cannot. Even though it's open, we can't do it. So they're relatively simple fixes as well. So let's jump right into that. So what we need to do to start with is, I've made a note here as you can tell, we need to hold Control X and just move that down here. So that's the first step. And now the way that we fix the next one is obviously we're saying that if we can path to it, you know, and if the length's good enough, then it'll either create a move square or close the grid. We're going to have to close the grid if we cannot just get there full stop as well. So the way that you do that is just down here, just put else, and then I guess we can just copy and paste this in here. And there we go. That is the first step done. So let's just make sure that's working. Oh, actually, there's something else I need to change in here as well. But let me just make sure this is working. So yeah, obviously doing that has now created an issue here, and I'll explain that in a minute. So we cannot move to this square, but I'll explain that and we'll fix it in a sec. Let's just make sure. So as you can see, all the bottom is now closed. It's working just fine. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. That's fixed. So the way that we need to fix this step is the way that I've done the grid. It doesn't start at 32. The grid, I believe, starts at 46, 48. So what we've got to do is change this here to 64. And then go down here and change this to -1. Now I know that looks a little bit dodgy, and I guess it is, but this fixes the problem. It's just the way that I've been working with the coordinates. I've been doing it slightly wrong, but this is enough to offset the problem so that it's fixed, you see. So yeah, there we go. Let me just make sure it's still okay out this side. Yes, it is. Okay, great. So there we go. There's our grid completely fixed. Let me just make sure all the corners are good. They should be. Yeah. Okay, great. So why don't we get into attacking then? So the first thing we're going to want to do here is we're going to create an enemy, and we will just call object n spearman, since this is the only sprite that we have that we're working with so far. And I'll give them a create thing and just variables, and all he needs in here for now, I mean, we're not coding the AI just yet, that's in a while, but we need to give him image speed of 0.5, and also his image x scale needs to equal -1, just so that he's facing to the left rather than to the right. Cool, let's just create the enemy. So parent enemy, and let's make him, I'll give him the parent. So what we're going to know is I'm going to put in the animation first. So let's do that. We'll call it Sprite Spearman Melee. So I guess we'll do so. Let's go to load sprite, and again, this will be in the description below, and you won't have to mess around like I'm about to. You'll just have it and it'll work. Let me see. Spartan attack. Okay. So again, click the first one, Control A, then you've got them all. And as I just said, you don't have to do this bit, this is just what I have to do. I believe it was 12, 13, I think. No, that was clearly not right. I put that in the wrong box. Let me just do that again. That was stupid. What I am trying to do is this. So 12 in here, 13 in here. Right. There we go. And his coordinates need to be just right in the middle there. There we go. That looks about right. Alright, we'll try it like that. So in the object Spearman, we need to, just in here, we need to give him a new variable, and that's just melee anim. And obviously that equals Spearman melee. Okay, great. So, now we need a new sprite. And this is just going to be sprite attack square. And this is just, make this about 16 by 16. We'll put a proper graphic in here later on, but for now let's just get it working. And we'll make it red, I guess. I'm going to make it see-through. Maybe 70 will do. There we go. And then go ahead and center that. And then make that an object. So object attack square. And link it. So that'll do for that. Oh, and actually, give it a depth of -1 just to make it appear on top of the player. So now, what we're going to do is, now this probably, again, will not be the most efficient way you've ever seen of doing this, but it doesn't matter. This is just how we're going to do it to keep everything nice and simple. But in here, when we create a move square, it is going to check to see if there is an enemy, an enemy anywhere near, right? And if there is, then it will create the attack squares. And so what the simple way we'll do this is we'll just say if instance position x plus 32 y, and if it's in contact with the parent enemy, then we will instance create at the position we've just checked, an object attack square. So yeah, and we're going to do this for 8 times. So eight of the surrounding squares of the player, and we'll just check if there's an enemy there, and then obviously we'll create the attack square at the center of the enemy, right? So basically what you want to do is you just want to copy this 8 times. Hold on. Copy this 8 times. And I'm not counting, so hopefully I get this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, okay. So what you want to do is go through each of these and just change the coordinates as I'm doing, because this is going to check all around the move square to make sure there's a a character there. Okay, that's plus 32. And obviously, the reason this is 32 is because that's the distance between the grid squares. And obviously this just makes sure that we check every single one of them. So obviously when there's like plus 32, minus 32, that's to the right and up, so diagonally up to the right. Again, that's diagonal down to the right. And these are just to the left. Give that a plus 32. But yeah, this likely is certainly not the most efficient way of doing this, but you know, it makes it easier to explain for me doing it this way, right? And if I can explain something like this, because I like to make this, you know, as beginner friendly as possible, and so I like to make sure everything's just nice and simple to understand, and I think this does the job quite nicely. But yeah, so now we've created the move squares if there's someone there. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go into the control object, and there is a new variable that we need, and it is global attacking, and obviously it will start false. Now there will be ranged attacks and stuff like that in this eventually, but for right now we're just going to focus solely on the melee attacks, or melee, however you say that. And then after we've implemented this, we'll go on to ranged attacks, maybe magic attacks and stuff like that. So now we need to go back into the place move squares, and up here we've got to copy this underneath, but this time instead of par enemy, just put instead of par player, we need it as par parent enemy, and that will do the job there. And eventually we'll also have like obstacles in here and stuff like that, maybe, if we get that far. You know, just things that we have to maneuver around on the map and stuff. So that might be quite cool, but yeah. So there we go. Your parent enemy will now be marked on the grid to close it. So let's just add it to the room. I'm just going to put it here, and we'll OK that. So the next thing we need to do now is we need to go to our player turn, and I have got my other project up just because I've just programmed this in here, just to make sure that I have a decent idea of what I'm doing when I come to explain it to you guys. So let's check this. Right. So the first thing that we need to do is hold on one sec. Right. First thing we're going to do is we need to come down here, and we're going to change this code a little bit. So the first thing you need to do is you need to grab instance position and just cut it. So Control X. And because we're going to have two different checks in here. One is just for simply moving. So we'll say if instance position is the move square, so if the mouse is on the move square, then it will do this as it normally would in here. But else if instance position is mouse X and mouse Y over object attack square, then we're going to do something else. So we're going to say global attacking is true, and then we need to go straight into with global selected, and then we're going to say if distance to object object attack square is bigger than 13. So that, I don't know why 13 is the right answer here, but it is. And what we're coding here is we're going to say if we're not one square to the attack square. So if we're further than one square away, then we're going to run to the nearest square in order to be able to attack, and then it will automatically attack, right? If you click on the attack square, that is. And this is just the distance for that. So this means more than one square. I don't know why it's 13. I would have thought it would have been like pixels and like so it'd be like 32 pixels away, but it's not. It's 13. Not sure why, but you know, it doesn't really matter as long as we've got the correct code. So this will work. So we need to say global dot moving is true. We're going to create this script in a moment. We're going to say script calculate if I've spelt that right, dist. Oops. Dist. We're going to say sprite index equals the run anim, and then the SCR navigation is going to be from obviously the X and Y to global attack travel X. Now obviously we haven't created these yet, but this will come very shortly. Times 32. Hang on, I need to round that. Round. Okay, good stuff. And then we'll do the same for this one. So round global dot attack travel dot Y. Okay, and then obviously the pace is just the pace as it normally would be. So and then obviously we need to take away the pixel dist or the movement points as what it actually is. So global dot length global navigate is the path. Right. Nearly there. So just down here we're going to say with objects move square, because we need to delete them again. Instance destroy, and we're going to do that for the attack squares as well. So just copy that in and just replace with attack. And now what we're going to do, we're going to just copy this, and we're going to put it everywhere where we destroy the attack square, like that. Okay, that's fine. Oh, something else we need to do is, and this is credit to Thomas, who commented on episode 4 or 3, episode 3 I believe. He made it clear to me that instance exists like this. You do not need it before a with statement. Now I did not know that, so thank you very much for that, Thomas. That's very, very useful to know. So yeah, all credits to Thomas for that one. And also another thing that we need to change in here is, I've already done it and I did leave an annotation on the video, but just in case you couldn't see that, where we're setting the sprite index to be the run anim or the idle anim, you need to put the variable there, run anim. And down here you need to change it to the idle anim. Okay, so what we need to do next then, with that in mind, is down here we have to say if global attacking is true, and if global dot moving is false, then with the global selected, and then we're going to create this new script as well, script melee attack. So then, right, let's crack into this. The first one we need to do is we need this script here, the calculate distance script. So let's get right into that now. Let me see. So this script will just get the nearest move square to the attack node, right, or the attack square as we call it. So let's have a look at this. We're going to need this quite big. So script calculate dist is the name of this. So what we need to do is we need a couple of variables in here. So we need to say dist1, dist2, and this is all the way till dist8. Like that. And then we also need nearest attack square. And just make the nearest attack square equal instance nearest, and it's the instance nearest to the mouse X, the mouse Y, and the object attack square is the object we're looking for. So what we've got to do now is, I'm going to write this once, then I'm going to do a copy and paste job so that you can just pause the video and put it in as necessary. So it's going to look like this. We're going to say if instance position nearest attack square dot x minus x minus 32. So first we're checking to the left of the attack square that we're finding, right? We're just going to first of all look to the left, and we'll say nearest attack square dot y, and it's looking for an object move square, so a valid move square that it can actually move to, right? And if it finds one, then dist1 will equal point distance from the global dot selected x and the global selected dot y. And the point distance that it's trying to find is the nearest attack square dot x minus 32. So as we specified, and the nearest attack square dot y. Okay, and that is that. Let me see. Great. So as I said, I'm going to copy and paste the rest of this little bit in here, and then feel free to pause it just to copy this. So there we go. There's the rest of that. Hold on, I should have wrote this in here. So else dist1 is 10. So the idea behind this is we're saying that if it finds if there's a move square where we're looking, then it will set the distance, or this dist variable here, to the pixel amount between the player and that particular move square. And then in a minute we're going to say the nearest move square is the one we're going to go to, right? So the nearest one between the attack node and the player is the move square that we will get to. And obviously if it doesn't find a move square, then the dist is just going to equal this ridiculous huge amount, just so that it will never be that square. So we need a new variable now called dest, and this is the destination that we're going to get to, right? So dest equals min, and this min just picks out the smallest number out of a set of numbers, if you like. It'll just give you the smallest one every time. So this has got to be dist 7, dist 8, and that's it. Now we need to say if dest is dist1. So if the destination, so the smallest is distance 1, then it will be this one we go to, right? So then we need to say global attack travel x is nearest attack square dot x minus 32, and the global attack travel y is the nearest attack square dot y. And I'm just going to copy the rest of this in because there's quite a lot. Yeah, there you go. Just feel free to copy that. It's fairly straightforward, that, isn't it? But yeah. So once you've copied that in there, the next thing we need to do is we need to create the melee script. So let's do that real quick. So we'll put script melee attack or melee, I guess maybe depending on where you're from, I don't know, but this one's easy enough really. So we say if the sprite index does not equal the melee or the melee anim. You guys will have to tell me how you pronounce that, because I have actually no idea. Is it melee or is it melee? I don't know. But the sprite index will then equal the melee anim, and the image index will equal 0.5. And then we'll say if image index is bigger or equal than image number -1, and then it will be sprite index back to idle and in, and also the global attacking will now equal false. So let's just see if I can explain this a little bit better. So down here, obviously, if we click on the attack square and we are further away than 1 square, then it will calculate the distance between the player and the move square, the closest one, and then it will travel there. Okay, and then down here, if we're attacking, then this will start. So it'll go into the melee attack. And in the melee attack, we're saying if our sprite is not our melee animation, then turn it to the melee animation. And image index 0.5, that should just be 0, right? Yeah, make image index just 0. And then if the image index has gone past the end animation sprite, sub image if you like, then it will turn it back to the idle animation, and then global attack will be set to false. So let's just see if this works. I don't think I've missed anything, but I may have done. And if I have, I'll fix it in a moment. But let's just see if this works. Hopefully it will. So let's check this out. So yeah, we've got our enemy. Let's see what we can't do out with him. So let's move up to him and we'll see if it works. So, right, good. We've got our attack square. Do we go to him? Yes, we do. And we also attack. Great. So if we come up here and we do that, great. It is moving to the nearest square. Brilliant. Right, so this works like a charm. Great stuff. I think what we should do as well, we should say, if this guy is behind him, then we should turn the other way to attack. You know what I mean? So let's do that real quick now. We probably want to do it in here. Actually, we probably want to say if. Hold on. To do that, actually, we need to go into the control, and we need to in here put global enemy. I'm right now at the clone, so we need to get the enemy's ID for this, I think. And to set it, we need to probably do it in here actually. Go to create on here and just put we'll put my owner, I guess. We'll just put my owner and we'll put instance nearest xy par enemy, and then we'll say global dot enemy equals my owner. So then in here we're going to have to say if global dot enemy dot x is lower than our x, then image x scale equals -1. And then down here we'll just say image x scale equals 1. So I think that should just work actually. Let's check it out. Let's see. So let's get behind him. Yeah, okay, that works. That's good. Let's try here. Yeah, that still works. And what about if we do it here? Well, I guess being straight up doesn't really matter, does it? No, I think I prefer it to be attacking right there. So let's just say if it's bigger than... In fact, now, you know what? I'll keep it for now, and maybe if you guys don't like that, then we'll change it. But yeah, I think that will do for this episode, guys. In the next episode, we will deal with actual damage, and we'll deal with death as well, and things like that. And then we'll get into stuff like ranged attacks and stuff. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.